Who's y'all? Okay. Oh my god, we have to start. I have to. I want
a
to talk
second,
about
a second riddle that she's equally bad.
No, she says the thing, and it's so good. She says it's Faerun time.
Yeah,
I need to take my sweater off.
She looks directly into the camera and says, "What is this? Some kind of court of thorns and roses?"
Really extremely good content right now.
I'm doing a backup recording. I think I can squeeze this in.
I am also recording.
Okay, I'm recording as well.
But I obviously am not recording yours.
No.
Shit.
Yeah, we gotta do the clap.
I've got the backup one going. I'm gonna pull it in from there. All right, let's do the. We're good to go. All right, welcome everyone to A Court of Bros and Broses. This is a podcast about Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses, where three straight men are on their maiden voyage through her magical, mystical world. And we're breaking them down a few chapters at a time. So we are nearing the end of book one, and I am Nirav Gandhi, and I'm your host. And I'm joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Patrick.
Hello.
And Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe Person Man.
Yeah, Joe last
name.
name.
I didn't know you were going to do a last name reveal.
What my name was? First, Joe Person Man.
That's what I said. You did a last name reveal.
That has reminded me of one of the great things in Community when there's the conspiracy theory teacher who is hiding his identity. He's like, you expect me to believe your last name is Professorson? Actually, we changed it from Professor Burke when my family was fleeing the Nazis. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's very good. I thought you were making a joke to
that's
the
one of my
human beings.
favorite.
It's one of the best episodes of the show. It's so good.
Yeah, that ending is so good. Watch Community.
It's
that's a good plug. All right, so Patrick said that he had a cold open for us planned for like a week now.
Oh my god, you can't intro a cold open.
Sorry,
it's not a cold open.
This is now a hot open. All right, so Patrick,
it's now a hot open.
Can you do a hot
and
open?
you've really set the expectations for this. No, I was just thinking about something because I have not seen Twilight, famously. Well, I've watched the first movie. I've not read any of the books.
Disgusting.
I've only watched the first movie. That's it. But you two are both big Twilight fans, right?
Biggest fan.
In the same way that I'm a big fan of paying taxes because I do engage with it regularly. Yeah.
Great. So both equally big Twilight fans.
One, I love paying my taxes, and two, I love watching Twilight.
There's two things I know about Joe.
Question.
That he loves taxes and Twilight. Okay, go on.
I was saying,
I put that on all of my dating profiles, and I have not gotten a lot of hits, and I don't understand why.
It's probably the taxes part.
Yeah.
I think the Twilight part, honestly, should get you so many hits. Because if I was on a dating profile and I saw that, I'd have so many questions I would need answers to.
Yeah. All right, what were you going to say, sir?
I was going to say, I'm not a book reader, well, in general, but
you're on the wrong
Twilight
podcast,
specifically,
my friend.
Don't tell anyone. I've been just flying by on Spark Notes. But is Team Edward or Team Jacob the right? I mean, are you guys Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Well, the books are over, and we know who she got with, so...
I'm asking you guys, in the heat of the moment, were you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
In the heat of the moment, one of them is a vampire that's 118 years old, and the other is a guy who is her age, so...
No, you are objectively wrong.
Okay.
Edward all the way, because Jacob is a weird, whiny,
he is whiny.
kind of sexually pushy guy. Edward's just a weird Mormon vampire that doesn't want to have sex before he's married.
That's true.
That's crazy.
I'm just saying, on an even playing field,
they're both abusive.
They are.
They're both bad. They're both abusive, but Jacob does not respond well to the word no.
He doesn't. You're right. He really has this. He's got a men's rights air about him that I'm worried about.
Yes, it was a precursor to a lot of what we're seeing today.
I'm just saying, if I was Charlie, if I was her dad, I would be I'd rather you date this monster that's not 100 years older than you, than the monster who is.
So you guys are saying at least Joe's Team Rhys, and it sounds like Nirav is Team Tamlin.
Is that what they're saying, though? Is they're saying that Tamlin is...
Rhys is a vampire man, and Tamlin is a wolf man.
No. But personality-wise, Rhys is way more Jacob to me. He's way more
Tamlin is
pushy
a lot like Edward, for sure.
Yeah, Tamlin's flighty and weird. Yeah.
That's interesting that you bring
All
that
I'm
up,
saying,
though.
as I thought about the fact that she's going to be stuck in a love triangle between a wolf man and a vampire Batman, and I was like, oh god, this fucking Timelight.
Okay, sorry, are his
Twilight
wings that come out bat wings? Because I was picturing Sephiroth's fucking one wing.
No, they're 1000%
membranous.
They're bat wings, and he has claws. He's a
Yeah.
fucking bat. He's a
Dude, and
vampire.
She gets so horny every time she mentions the wings. It's
She
insane.
does. She truly does. When the
It
wings
wasn't a
come out,
one-off thing.
she is just drooling over the wings.
All
All
right.
right, that's
Sounds like
chapter
me
40.
at
Chapter
Hooters, am I
42
right?
is going
All
to
right,
be.
well. That wasn't even
So
a good
another
joke.
precursor. I have
Cut it.
to. I feel like I do have to give a little bit of. I'm trying to censor myself a little bit today, as much as possible, because my mother-in-law is here. So I'm recording this podcast about
She's actually
and she's
the problem with- we're
literally
trying
20 feet away from me, watching me grinning.
We're trying to. The thing is that like she's a big fan of Team Jacob, so that's kind of why we need to like keep it on the down low. What we're saying on here, because I think she's not going to
Absolutely.
react well.
I won't
Probably
hide
not.
my true self for anybody.
I am worried.
Anyway.
Okay, I will say one thing though. I think out of the fucking 4 Twilight books there are, only in the second one is Jacob presented as a serious love interest for her, because like she marries Edward at the end of that one. It's like,
Oh, wait,
the
we're also
story's
clearly-
over.
We're also glossing over the fact that Jacob fucking falls in love with a baby.
Yeah, I don't
No,
want to talk about that,
yeah.
but he does. And
Okay.
well,
I mean, the
no,
age-
it's
the
actually
age gap
worse.
is-
All right,
No,
it's
sorry.
a different podcast now.
No, it's actually worse because not only does he fall in love with the baby, he says, "I'm going to raise this baby until it is 18, and then I'm going to marry it and fuck it."
That is
It's
the
like
fucking
maybe
wildest
it's
grooming. That's the worst grooming
No,
gift I've
it's
ever heard in my life.
it's called imprinting. It's not grooming. Don't worry about it so much. Why are you asking so many questions?
Yeah, I think, God, I can't remember the author's name. Was,
Stephanie
yeah, I think
Meyer?
she was,
Yeah.
she was working through some stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Anyways,
Mormonism
that cold
aside-
open wasn't a blowaway cold open. And it wasn't supposed to be fucking hyped up narrative. I was just simply like earlier the week ago, whenever I texted you guys about it, I had the epiphany. I was like, wait a minute, this is just Twilight. As someone
It's
who has
good that
not
you had
read
that
Twilight,
epiphany though, because I have read it and I did not realize that. But there is one bat one and one wolf one. You are right.
yeah, which
my
is
God,
all that
yeah,
Twilight
there
is to
is.
me, really.
She just flipped the personalities.
Yeah, she's right. You're right.
And then,
She
and I was
flipped
saying,
their
as you guys were
personalities, for sure.
describing their personalities, as someone who doesn't know them very well, if I just removed the names and their forms from it, I felt like you were describing Rhysand and Tamlin, honestly.
Yeah, my 2 favorite characters. All right, so
God, I just want
Anyway.
what better love interest than a wet fucking blanket or a rapist? Is there any in
there's
between?
there's nothing in between those 2 things, man.
See, Joe, here's a twist. They're both rapists.
What? Did Tamlin too?
Oops, all rapists.
Wait, what did Tamlin do?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Oh, right, I forgot. The fucking
Oh, just
festival.
the hallway. The original festival hallway
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, that was like a that
That
was
was presented as
differently, though.
societally okay.
Well, that was from like the author's perspective, fine. So it was fine, and he also
Sure.
yeah, that was presented differently than everything Rhysand has done. Although she seems
You're
to be
right.
starting to get into it, and I'm uncomfortable with the direction
I am
of
so.
it.
Chapter 42 is the most uncomfortable I've been maybe ever reading a book, and like I actually was so angry this afternoon. Like I was walking around the halls of my office just like fuming. It was like, what the fuck, man.
Great. Can't wait to get to chapter 42.
I'm really excited. We're really building up to it. So let's get back to chapter 40, which is the funniest chapter in the book.
Oh my god, it's so good.
The second task. Okay, so yeah, it's the second task. So Feyre is brought into a small cavern, and Feyre is lowered into a pit surrounded by 3 walls, and there's like this hot iron gate above her head, like heated iron spikes or whatever. Which, by
And
the
she
way,
makes a point of
Yeah.
the fact that the walls are slick. Like she specifically says the walls are too slippery to climb up. Like you can't pull the same shenanigans you pulled last time. That's kind of emphasized.
although, like, okay, actually, running back to that, was her challenge, her task for the first one, kill the worm or escape the worm pit?
I don't know if it was ever clarified.
I
They
think it was
just drop her
don't
in the
die.
pit. Yeah, I think it was just don't die.
Okay.
Although, what's her name Amarantha does say, like, oh, something for you to hunt in a very mocking way. So
Yeah.
it's not clear what the intent of the challenge was.
Fair
though.
enough. One
Also,
thing
if there were rules, Feyre wouldn't be able to read them anyway.
Hilarious.
hilarious. We'll get to that. One thing I do want to commend Sarah for here is that the giant spikes that are coming down from the ceiling are apparently like super wide and very blunt and very hot. So they will literally just crush her very, very slowly, not actually pierce through her body and kill her immediately. Which I was like, that sounds fucking awful. That's so sadistic.
Burning, crushing death.
Yeah. But anyway, so
although at a certain point, if they're blunt spikes, are they even spikes anymore? Or are they just like rods?
I mean, I think they're like spike. If you were like the size of a dragon, they would be spikes, but she's not, you know?
Okay, that's fair. They're dragon spikes.
Yeah, and then in the room, or the room is then split in two with another iron grate that she can't really climb over. But on the other side is Lucian, who is tied down and cannot get away either.
Yes, he is sporting his one eye, which was so he has one like metallic robot eye, and then the other is there like does he not have an eye there still? I was losing track of how many
it's a regular eye.
Okay.
When she says, I think when she says russet eye, she's referring to the color of his normal eye.
Okay. Does he not have like a mechanical eye or something on the other one though?
He does. He has a normal eye.
He has one eye, one regular,
and a robot
eye. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's cyberpunk.
He's got an AUG installed. Okay, so the spike gates come down, and so Lucian and she will both be crushed if she's not able to complete this task. And so there's writing on the wall, and there's 3 levers in front of her, and Feyre cannot read, which is, I mean, we've talked about this, like, she understands it's a problem. She did make an attempt to try to learn to read, unfortunately did not come to pass. So she just kind of is sitting there while apparently Amarantha does not know that she's illiterate, which makes it very funny to me.
It's so funny because originally Feyre does consider the fact that Amarantha knows she's illiterate, and she does this as like a funny like
a prank, yeah,
as a prank. But then Feyre realizes that no, Amarantha does not know that she's illiterate, and it's great. And honestly, you would wonder, how could you possibly make a chapter where they're lowering Spike Trap and words on the wall last so long, and yet they milk it for all it's worth.
Thank you. I was like, holy shit.
For a
but
scene?
Also, like, we got to hear the narrator try to sound out the word grasshopper, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
One really fun thing is that this ostensibly takes place over the course of maybe like 2 real-time minutes, but it's like it's a very, very long chapter.
That's what I mean. It's so long, and it's got to be not even 2. I think 2 minutes is being generous. I imagine this being a single minute, and it's like it goes on for maybe longer than a minute.
Yeah,
but either way,
we'll definitely get into that because first Feyre's like, I'm trying to sound out the words, and she sees something about like the quick brown fox jumped over the dog or whatever, and then like she just can't make out more than just like a few words here and there and doesn't know what the riddle is. By the way, I wanted to ask you guys this. Do you guys think that you've sussed out, based on the keywords given, what the riddle was?
No.
It was
we
3
only know like 2 of the words.
grasshoppers.
Yeah, it was 3 grasshoppers, 2 grasshoppers, and then 1 something.
Yeah. So like 3 grasshoppers walk into a bar. Like
basically that.
Yeah. I'm just curious if... I guess my question is like, if she had been able to read it, would she have been able to... Yeah, would she have been able to solve it also?
No, because she said in here, she said to herself, riddles aren't my strong suit. I was like, yes!
What an
self-awareness.
Yeah, at least she's self-aware.
Don't sell yourself short, honey. Like, those are...
No, she would not have been able to solve it. She would have been like, wait, grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers,
is it the
hop
plague,
on grass.
maybe?
Yeah.
But even before she starts sounding it out, she spends like, I mean, we're doing the audiobook, so I'm not sure how many pages it is, but it feels like an eternity grappling with the idea of her having to solve a riddle and not knowing how to do it. You're just thinking about Tamlin and everything, and what do I do? And it feels like she spends so long despairing over the fact that she can't read instead of attempting to read it. I'm like, oh my gosh, please just make an attempt.
I was just imagining like the the College Humor Batman videos. You know what I'm referring to?
Yeah.
Fucking like, is it helicopters?
Yes.
Okay. That was basically where she was at. So yeah, she's okay. So she's got her right arm, I believe, is the one that has the eye in it. Is that right?
I thought it was the left for some reason.
Was it the left? I don't know. It's whatever handed she is, I think, her dominant hand. But regardless, so she doesn't know how to read, and then we spend about like half the chapter talking about the fact that she doesn't know what a riddle is. And then she reaches for one of the levers, and Amaranth is just like taunting her, like, you could guess, you have a 33% chance of getting it right, basically. And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, if time runs out, just fucking pull one of them, honestly. Like, see what happens. But luckily, Rhysand is interfering again.
Well, there's a whole inner monologue part where she's debating on the numbers. She's like, well, the number one,
yes,
I don't like because I'm alone, and the number 3 is too big. 3 is too big of a number.
I've committed this to. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying because 2 is me and Tamlin. That's perfect.
Yes.
2 is perfect.
It's fucking Goldilocks over here.
Yes.
Yes, it was like, yes, 2 is me and Tamlin, and that's the best thing ever. I love him. He's my hubby. 1, that means you're lonely, you're gross, you're Amarantha, you're the adder, you're forever alone, and that's bad. 3 is... Does she like list her sisters
She's
or
like,
something?
It's
that's
too
many.
Sisters. Too many
3
sisters.
Is just too many. It's too many.
So
just too
okay,
many. Good.
Have either of you watched Severance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, finally, I found out what Feyre would be good at. Put her in front of the computers and have her figure out what the good and the bad numbers are and put them in the right bucket.
Yes, 1,000%.
Like, that is where she belongs. I was incredulous, and I was like, this is like me... This is like fucking like trying to like suss out like ARGs from gaming companies. Like, oh, like 1 + 2 is 3. Hoenn confirmed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
just me. I don't know. It was just very funny. I was laughing in my car though, so I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
I was listening to I didn't listen to this entire section with Alexa, but I happened to listen to just this portion of these 3 chapters with Alexa. And we were in the car driving somewhere, and I was like, "Please, Feyre, for the love of God, just like
the fact that
driving
she like
crazy."
The part that drove me the most crazy is the next thing where
yes.
Yeah, okay, so she reaches for one lever and feels pain, and then feels the second pain for the second lever, and then does not feel any pain for the third one.
No, you are glossing over it.
Yeah, hold on.
Sorry, please continue.
Patrick, please do the honors.
I missed some crucial
I was saying,
details.
So she reaches very slowly for the lever specifically with her hand that has the tattoo on it.
Yeah.
And then she feels a sharp pain in her, like specifically she says in the tattoo, like in the eyeball tattooed on her hand, she feels a sharp pain, and she's like, oh.
And it squints at her.
And it squints at her, and she's like, oh, I bet that was nothing. Anyways, let's try that lever again.
It's like a fucking Skyrim guard being like, oh, must have been the wind.
And she reaches for the same lever again, feels the pain again. She's like, that's so weird. I guess I'll try one of the other levers. Reaches for lever 3, feels nothing. Reaches for lever 1, feels pain again, and she's like, well, I guess it's lever 3. But it takes her, me summarizing that in 20 seconds, it takes her so long.
No, and
it is
even
fucking
at lever 3,
agonizing.
Dude,
like,
she still wasn't even like sure on lever 3, and she still didn't put together until Rhysand after this is then talking in her head and doesn't even up until that point had not put it together yet until a person was talking in her brain skull that Rhysand was helping her.
Yeah, I think what did he say? He was like basically like Feyre pulled the lever or something like that. He said something.
No, he said don't. She was like about to be in tears because she was overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation, and he was telling her don't cry, like stare at her, don't look at Tamlin, kind of like stare her down, like walk her down. Oh,
right. He was like kind of like walking her off the edge a little bit, like giving her a pep talk, which is honestly nice for him to do that. But at the same time, if he had the ability to do that, why did he wait until the spikes were like inches from her head to actually do it?
So it is just agonizing because it's like you can't possibly not know by now. Like you feel the pain in your tattoo. 1, 2, 3. Oh, the third lever, I don't feel any pain. Like, and then she spends like a fucking of the audiobook. I swear it's a fucking 5 minutes before she pulls that lever.
It feels like a long time. Meanwhile, all this time, poor Lucian, is on the other side of the pit, yelling at her, "Feyre, just pull a lever, do anything."
He's like praying to like after she's saved, he's like praying to the cauldron or whatever the like religion is. I think they're always praying to the cauldron, And
Yeah.
the entire time he's just saying, I can't imagine, to your point, like what he's just going through. Like, he's like, I'm going to die. This illiterate bitch. I'm going to die. Like,
Oh, Lucian. And it's funny, as soon as the riddle is revealed on the wall, she looks at Lucian, and Lucian has this face of recognition of like, oh God, I know what it
she
is.
can't. Yeah.
oh, no.
But they specifically say he's too far away to be able to read it and help her.
Yes.
So.
Which could have
but
been
yeah.
a cool, like, workaround if he was able to, like, blink 3 times or whatever,
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure she would have caught that. Regardless.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so eventually she does finally pull the third lever, and then as she does it when the spikes are like an inch from her head, like she's about to get like impaled. It sounds like, well, not impaled, but crushed. It sounds like it. And then as soon as the grate stops, she looks up and sees Rhysand, like violet eyes staring back at her. Mm-hmm. And then he's talking to her again, like don't let her see, don't Amaranth see you cry. Just stare her down and walk out of here, basically.
Yep.
And then she does that.
Don't
and then
cry.
she
Until you get back to your cell, and then that's when this chapter gets really fucking weird.
I forgot about that. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's chapter. Yeah, this whole
That's still
section.
this chapter.
There's
So
actually
she gets back to her
terrible.
cell and starts crying. Understandably so.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's not the weird
Extremely.
part.
Yeah, no, understandably so.
Right. Okay, so Rhysand shows up, and...
Oh no, Nerve's cutting out for me a little bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Hang on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Okay. I wonder if
All
that
good.
was... Let me double check it was the... Yeah, the audio's fine.
Yeah. This is one of those moments where I had to. I always listen to this when I'm driving. This is one of those moments where I had to have Siri send me something very interesting.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
We got some Joe notes, some Joe Siri notes.
So, yeah, do you want to get some commentary? Because, yeah, he walks in there and is like, looks like you needed my help again. And then he just...
Well, Rhysand. Yeah,
Rhysand,
Rhysand.
yeah,
So
sorry.
she's in the cell crying, and then Rhysand shows up. He's like, "What up? It's your boy."
It's your boy. Yeah.
Hey.
He says, it's your boy, and then, I guess to assert his physical dominance once again, licks some tears off of her face, which made me wildly uncomfortable again for maybe the 14th time.
Yeah, not just
And
that.
it was a slow process.
Yes, it was a slow lick, but also he licked her fucking eyelash. That
Well,
was
yeah,
when
he was
she
like
stopped.
he was licking a tear, then licking another tear, and then licking another tear, and then I finally licked her eyelash. I was listening to this part with Alexa, and Alexa did kind of spoil what we find out at the end of this chapter. But I paused it. I was like, "What is Rhysand's deal? This is so creepy." And Alexa was like, "It's fine. It's fine.
Not fine, Alexa.
It's not fine.
It's not fine.
Because
It's
there
fucking Eric Cartman, Scott Tenor. Not Scott Tenor.
just because
what's
there
his
is an
name?
explanation
Like,
doesn't mean it's an excuse.
I mean, so basically what he was doing. So we find this out. They talk and everything, and the chapter ends. I forgot what they say, if the conversation they have is of any value after this point. But they talk, and then as the chapter ends, Farah even says, like, I don't think Rhysand realized that he basically saved me in that moment from from breaking in that moment. So, like, I guess I get what they're going for. Like, the reason he licked her tears off of her face, which to me was still very creepy, but it was to intentionally do something. This is what Alexa was saying, is intentionally, and I get that from what Pharaoh said too. It was to intentionally do something incredibly jarring, weird, like very, very unexpected and crazy, so that Farah's reaction was, "What the heck are you doing?" Like, to deliberately just
I can just
knock
think of
her out of her
so many
place.
less violating things he could have done to elicit that reaction. Like,
I don't know if I agree, because in chapter 42, he just I'll just say this one thing. He just straight up say, like, if it wasn't for Tamlin, like, and the threat of him killing me, I would have raped you already.
yes, yeah. So that was a. We'll talk about when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, but like, I don't necessarily know if obviously Alexa's read the entirety of this
Yes.
and knows more about the motives, but like up to this point, I can't get on board with.
No,
with
I would
Alexa
actually
on
like.
that.
Like
I believe her, but I haven't gotten. I can't accept that in my heart yet.
I mean, I don't even know if there's much more explanation. Like, I doubt there's, the book after this, they have a callback to the tear-looking incident. I don't even know if they're going to explain it further. I think it was just in that moment explained in that he was trying to do something very jarring to knock her out of the thing. But to your point, Nirav, there probably could have been other jarring things he could have done that were less...
Could have made a funny
invasive.
face. You could have told a joke, or
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if you've ever been on the verge of a panic attack before, but
Yes,
sometimes
like-
it needs to be something.
Yes, I have.
Okay, I
But
would say
I
sometimes
don't
it needs to be
think
something
somebody
really,
licking me-
really.
Somebody licking my tears would not have helped me, I don't think, in that moment. But that's just me.
You think if you were having a panic attack, if someone licked your face, it would not jar you out of the panic attack? Because that to me says someone licking your face is so normal. You're like, yeah, this is right. I'm gonna keep panicking right now.
You know what? Holy
Maybe
shit.
I just got a sweet face. I don't know.
No, I've kind of what? Okay. I'm gonna say honestly, Patrick, I'm fully convinced on your side. I kind of put myself into that headspace again. I was like, yeah, if somebody licked my face, I'd be in a whole different emotional.
I would be
world
yes,
if
I
that
would be
happened.
extremely.
Yeah, it
you're
would-
right. Yeah.
But
I'd be so mad. I would go from being a total emotionally distraught to like, what the fuck
Okay,
are you
let
doing,
me just-
dude?
let
You
me just say
absolute
this.
creep.
If-
I'm not
if-
saying that's the only thing he could have done, but it certainly works.
yes.
the context of this matters, because if this was the last thing that happened, whatever, sure, I'm on your side. But like, because of what happens in the later chapter here, I just cannot get on board with this
It
method.
does get creepier.
Yes.
It seems like the what happens in 42 gives further context to Rhysand. It's like, okay, so Rhysand is a little bit of a creep.
Not okay. We're gonna get there. We're gonna talk about it.
We'll get there. Okay, so that
the
anyways,
next
that's chapter
yeah.
40 is done. Chapter 41 is fairly brief.
It's really short, yeah. So she's walking around with Rhysand's servants, and she's supposed to
But
get
it does
dressed for the
start
party that
first
night.
with her. There is a first brief part, like this is the part where she's kind of entering like the I can't do this. Like she has this whole piece about, I couldn't even solve this riddle without getting help. And kind of realizing the gravity of the situation of like, I'm just a human. How am I supposed to do this? Like basically all is lost, and this kind of down, depressive spiral of there's no way I can do this third task. It's definitely going to kill me. So her headspace is definitely getting worse here, which would make sense after the close call and kind of needing to see that she couldn't just do this all herself. She had to have, or she, cheating as she called it, kind of shattered her confidence with all of it.
Yeah. So we're going back to the party. This one's a big party. And Rhysand is like bringing her back as his escort or whatever. And she overhears a conversation between the Adder, who again is in.
No, it's not after a party. It's before the party. It's
No.
where
Sorry,
yeah,
did I say after? Okay.
Yeah, it's Rhysand's handmaids. The two handmaids go to fetch her to prepare her for the party, like they usually do every night. And then as they're walking down the hallway, they hear the voices, and the two handmaids grab Farah and like pull her into a corner and like have a tapestry fall over them to kind of conceal their location. And yeah, it's between an adder and a pig.
It's like I just thought it was like a guy. I don't know who it is. Is it because he works for the High King Hybern, who we talked about as possibly the Emperor Palpatine of this series, and he's like unhappy with what Amarantha's doing, like basically playing with her food here, toying around, and also like making a very big mistake by giving Tamlin any possibility of surviving this rather than just fucking killing him there. Which I mean, I'm on King Hybern's side here, or whatever. But he's also like really worried that Amarantha's basically being driven by her obsession with Tamlin after what happened with her what's his name, Jurian, like back during the Old War. So like she's not thinking clearly, which is correct. That is true.
And isn't the king also worried that Amarantha's like, or at least the other Fae who's reporting to the king is like, Amarantha better deliver on like everything she's doing, or the king, don't make the king regret giving her
like such high
or whatever
status. No, that's true. So I was like, okay, there's a little bit of a setup probably for the next book there, after I'm sure I feel strongly that Amaranth is going to bite the dust very soon here. And
and they did throw in an added element of, he said, make sure Amaranth doesn't screw up. The adder tries to play it up, saying back, like, oh, you shouldn't be talking about that like that in, the queen's house, she'll basically fuck you up. And he's the guy, the representative responds back essentially like, do you know who I work for? And the adder has no response. So it kind of establishes the hierarchy of power that, despite what we think of Amaranth, the High King of Hybern is still way more of a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So then she's she has like kind of a whole thing going. I was kind of lost during this part because it was like she hears like music, and then she just like goes into like her like happy place, and she sees a bunch of visions of nice things, and then like sort of has like a resurgence of like perseverance and drive to like continue and do this last trial.
That was
this like a magic thing.
We kind of had a. I have no idea. We like before that, like after that scene when the adder and stuff pass, they get her ready for the party or whatever, and then we kind of have like a fast forward montage of like she mentioned that she has several days in a row of party after party after party after party, and then after just like so many different parties, as she's like 2 nights. I think it's like she's like 2 nights left until the final trial. Then she has this drug trip brought on by music she hears. I wasn't really following it either, to be honest.
I thought it just mentions in here, like, she mentions Alice told her not to trust her senses, so it's kind of unclear. Is it supposed to be real, or was it supposed to, because she had a very significant reaction in like a drug trip kind of way, to your point, Patrick. It was, because I was thinking too, it was like, there is the classic, like, if you're in jail or in prison, hearing music is going to elicit a very emotional response because it is something other than confinement. But it was extra.
Yeah.
So I was very confused. It came out of nowhere and then just ended, and I was like, what exactly was that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it was something to help her, so good. But I didn't really follow it.
Yeah, I was confused on if it was like magical in nature and if someone was doing that for her. It was just like a metaphorical representation of her like finding her strength again. But I don't know.
I didn't even know I hadn't even considered the fact that someone might be doing it for her. I just thought maybe she was hearing. Well,
at first I thought
the party.
Yeah, at first I thought it was somebody like playing magic music for her to give her strength, and then I was like, that's probably not what's happening. So I don't know. But yeah, I guess it's just
honestly, yeah. I'm gonna say you're right on that. I think we're gonna find out later. Or actually, probably what it was.
It could have been Tamlin.
That was my thought. Actually, was that like Tamlin probably played an instrument up for everybody at Amarantha's request, and she heard that and like it had a reaction.
Oh, I could buy that. Yeah, I could buy that.
Yeah, because he knows how to play the fiddle or whatever. So maybe he played it in such a way where she connected to that and heard that, and yeah, that could be nice. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So then we get to the bad chapter,
the big bad evil chapter.
Right. We'll go through this a bit by bit. So Tamlin and Farah encounter each other at the party, which is in full swing. Everyone's fucking getting sloshed, and Tamlin is still like looking dead-eyed and everything, but his like fingers brush hers, and then he feels, or she feels like the electricity and everything, and like he gestures for her to follow him, which I was kind of surprised they were even attempting this, because I was like, that sounds dangerous, man. She's probably watching. Amarantha.
I mean, she apparently wasn't watching, but yeah, Tamlin was. She was distracted in some way, and then it didn't even seem like Tamlin gestured for her to follow him. They brushed fingers, and then he walked across the room and kind of just dead eye stared at her, and she was like, oh, like. She got the hint. It didn't seem like it was a very clear gesture. Just Tamlin was dead-eye staring at her in a different way than he's been dead-eye staring at her.
Yeah, it didn't... There wasn't like a build-up, really. It was just like they kind of both seemed to kind of rock the same vibe. And we're like,
yeah, they got the vibe. Let's
peel off.
Yeah.
And then comes the weirdest depiction of French kissing I think I've ever heard.
Sure, yeah, I got a little bit lost in there, and I was like, I think I zoned out, and I was like, what's happening?
Oh, I was very focused.
Oh, you were? Okay, you got laser focused.
But yeah, so they get into the side room. Do they even say anything Do they say a single word to each other?
Oh my God, they don't.
Immediately go.
No,
I don't think they do.
so. But I don't think
And in fact, even
Tamlin has
before or
lost the
after this
ability to
happens,
speak.
yeah, I don't think Tamlin or Farah say. Well, actually, no. I guess that's not true. Tamlin does say one thing as he's leaving, but in this entire scene, there's no speaking between them. They just get in there and get in there.
Yeah, and then they start making out aggressively, and she's like, "Oh, our tongues were going at it. It wasn't like a waltz or a dance. It was like war drums." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." Like,
Nice.
but she was more visceral about it. But like, not like it didn't sound fun anymore the way she described it. It sounded
No, I
like,
agree.
She took it past the point of like, it sounded like they were just tongue stabbing each other.
I mean, I'm not sure if you've ever been in a situation where you have a lot of pent up I'm censoring myself as best I can over here.
I forgot. Go on.
But if it's ever been pent up a whole lot, and then you finally see the other person again for a while, yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
sure.
I'm
Or
saying
like rabbit, whatever.
Oh no, I'm agreeing with that. I'm saying her description made it sound like they were actually like that their tongues weren't soft anymore. That they were like aggressively like fighting each other. Was
Someone's
the depiction
tongue, like,
I was getting
invaded someone else's mouth. Like it was not a.
Yes.
Like I said, it's like a. But okay. But again, I agree with Patrick though. Like that can be how it be after a while. Like 100%. So I got you.
No,
Yeah.
all of this, like the no talking, go into a dark room, take each other's clothes off, 100% agreed with all of it. I'm just saying,
It was just funny. Yeah.
specifically her depiction of French kissing was very interesting to me.
It was
Very,
fun.
very good.
Okay, so Rhysand appears and he's like, "Uh-oh, you shouldn't be doing that because Amarantha might find you." And I was like, "He makes a great point."
I pictured him just sitting there, like in the back of the room with like a bowl of peanuts, just like throwing them in his mouth. Like
I was thinking,
How long was
naughty.
he watching this too?
Yeah.
Like how long was he sitting there just watching this?
I was
whole
hoping
thing?
he was going to be like, "No, I like to watch."
Oh, he was definitely in a cuck chair, 100%.
Oh, he was.
He's like, oh, they look at him. He's like, no, continue, please.
Yeah, I pictured him like leaning against the wall, like one shoulder against the wall, like smugly, like, well, what do we have here? So
he
like
was, he was definitely seated with like I think
Yeah.
he was enjoying it for a while.
longer than he should have.
I will say it was an enjoyable scene. I thought it was other than the weird war drum kissing depiction. I was into it.
It was
Enjoyed
nice. It was good to. I mean, this is the first time they've been together in a long time, so yeah, it was good. For a very brief moment, it was good.
Yeah,
It was
until
good.
Rhysand
We managed
showed
to. We managed
up.
to feel Farah's like, oh wow, this is like a nice moment for Farah for the first time in a while, and then, oopsie, Rhysand's here.
Yeah, dude, he cockblocked Tamlin hard. Like Tamlin had his. Tamlin
that
was
is
in
the first
she was
phrase that
in
came
the
to my head, too.
process of pulling Tamlin's pants off, and then Rhysand's like, naughty, no. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Like her top's already off too, if I remember.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just been sitting there watching. He's like, "No, you go next." So like, anyway, he does interrupt them and be like, "Hey, Amarantha will fucking kill both of you right now if she sees this." And okay, so one of you please remind me how the smudges of paint on her body are supposed to work. Rhysand painted her body with magic paint that if somebody else lays their fingers on her, it smudges her. Is this right?
Yeah, and it leaves like a clear impression of where the paint was.
And the paint rubs off on the individual that touched her.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
after
It's
this,
like a
her
burglar
paint
alarm.
is all smeared on her body.
Did you say smeared?
And Tim,
Like a
I
fucking
did say
bagel?
smeared. You know, like bagel schmear.
Yeah, she's covered in cream cheese.
She's covered in cream cheese.
Don't knock it till you try.
Well, actually, she almost was covered in cream cheese, but then
Oh.
Oh.
I'm unhappy with the description of this cheese. All right. So yeah,
it's probably a little thicker.
Yeah. Anyway, God damn it, Tamlin.
God.
Okay.
Did you just call me Tamlin?
Tamlin.
No, I was trying to say God damn it, and then I tried to move on to the next thing, which was Tamlin leaves, but then I just like ran out of juice. Okay.
God damn it. Well, actually, so did Tamlin. He
Yeah.
also ran out of juice.
Gosh, are you guys preparing this in advance? And you're going to set and show up for these.
I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna be part of this.
I mean, Rhysand's not a part of it either.
Okay. Tamlin is like, "I love you" to Feyre, and she's like, still doesn't say it back somehow.
I was
which
so
is insane.
upset. I was like, come on, just
After
I
all
can't
this-
believe she said it didn't
Look,
say it
I
back.
know that
He
the
said-
curse is probably not going to like work that way anymore since she knows about it or whatever. But like, you could still just say it. You know, it wouldn't hurt.
You could just say it. It's fine.
I
Wouldn't
just
hurt
wanted for
anybody.
her. I just like for her on a personal level. I just wanted her to say it. Just this is.
Do you
this
think?
is
Do you
big.
think if she
Just-
said it, she could have maybe figured out the answer to the riddle after she said like, "I love you." Wait a second.
Oh,
my god!
wait.
Did
No way.
dude. That's 100% how this book ends. That's
Oh,
how
no.
she figures out the riddle.
That's how she figures out the riddle. Damn it.
All right. Well, we've solved that.
All right, well, let's move on. Anyway, so Rhysand is angry and his wings come out, which we established are bat wings, but I do think it's
Bat
funny
wings.
that, like, they are a lot like, when, like, Sephiroth goes to his final form, like, the black angel wings come out, and that's kind of what I was picturing. It's like, oh, Rhysand has reached his final form for, like, the boss battle.
Yep.
No, they're more like Sasuke's weird wings, honestly.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Or, like, or Morbius. Does he have wings? I think he does at one
I have
point.
no
right?
idea.
No, he does not have wings.
Does not?
He has
Okay.
he has like energy that floats around him.
You're right.
Should I
He's-
Google Sasuke's weird wings right now? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he gets weird wings at one point. Go ahead and Google that.
Yeah, it's part of his what is that?
They look like hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
I
closer
hate
to that
these.
than I think the Sephiroth thing.
No, these aren't hot. These aren't hot.
didn't say
Pharaoh
they
would
were
not
hot.
give. Well,
I guess
Pharaoh
I'm gonna
does.
disagree with you on
Pharaoh
that.
thinks. Joe.
Oh, you know what? Who has like
you
those,
think they're hot?
the scaly these wings?
Yeah,
if-
I would
you
say
know,
yeah.
you know,
I'd say Sasuke's wings. Yeah, I'd say those Sasuke's wing can get it. Yeah.
Dude, they look like Gro's hands.
You don't want those jerking you off?
Oh gosh,
I'm
no,
curious what
I
the
don't.
overlap demographic of our listeners and Naruto fans is. But regardless,
Zero. I gotta say 0, maybe 1. You know what? There's gotta be one person.
Yeah, Kyle.
One person's like, this is for me. Oh, is it Kyle? Is it just Kyle
look,
again?
it would be sexist of me to assume it's Kyle, but I think it is.
No, it's the truck driver in our Discord.
Oh yeah, they love Naruto. All right.
I mean, there definitely are some female Naruto
No, there
fans.
are,
I
for
just
sure.
don't know if the overlap is between between them and this specific podcast.
Sure. Okay, so we gotta keep moving. Rhysand is like, "Meh," and his wings come out, and he says, "Brr," and his wings fly out of his back. Actually, I was thinking of Midnight Mass. You know, when the angel, like, the wings come out of it, like, and they're like all fucking gross and like transparent and like membraney and stuff. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking of. But anyway, he like kind of forces himself onto Feyre to start kissing her, and of course I'm like, what the fuck, man? And then like I understand what he's doing about a minute later, because Amarantha and Tamlin come in, and so Rhysand is covered in paint from Feyre, so it looks like he's been with her in here rather than Tamlin. And then of course Amarantha like laughs because she's like, oh, Tamlin, doesn't this hurt you? Don't you hate it? Won't you marry me now? And
Please.
Please? it's unbelievable, her strategy to just like break every part of his mind to get him to be with her. Like I'm incredulous at her plan, but
It's wild.
no, I think Rhysand, like, considering the insane amount of things that are set up in this situation specifically, like, I think Rhysand does the smart thing, and I don't have a problem with this specific thing, but like, yeah. Anyway,
But he did.
I mean, he
also-
probably could have
Go
like
ahead.
pretended. I mean, I guess I don't know what the setup and the angle of this room is.
Yeah, exactly,
But unless
yeah.
they're surrounded, I don't know if he actually needed to kiss her. Like, right? He could have just like
you could have done a classic,
pretended.
like, yeah, like a classic like '80s movie, like pretend you're kissing me thing, you know?
Yeah.
But that's
yeah.
not really his style, is it?
No, it's
No,
not.
his style is to then stick his tongue in your mouth and then lick the top of your mouth, which is what she said happened.
It's like he.
Because yeah, that's the thing. Even though he's like, "Oh, I'm doing this to sell it," he commits a little more than he needs to. Because Amarantha does not know what's going on in that mouth.
that's such a line.
What? Yeah, she says what's.
Sorry,
yeah,
it just broke my brain for a second.
I got confused because
You guys really just let that hang there for a
Yeah.
second.
I couldn't riff off of that. It stopped.
I was
me
gonna
firm
try to
in
say
my
like
tracks.
what that mouth do, but then I was like confused by what I was saying. Anyway,
Some of this makes me feel like Sarah J. Maas has not kissed a lot of people.
It doesn't. You don't have to kiss a lot of people. Just like one, and be like.
or sorry, she has not kissed often.
Yeah,
the number
often.
of
Sorry,
people is not important.
Right. That's what I was getting at. But yes, that may be true. I don't know what her deal is. Okay, so.
Or she has an interesting style that's full of teeth and licking the top of people's mouths.
Hey, you know what? If she's, I'm not gonna yuck any yums. So to steal that phrase from Patrick from earlier, but. Whatever. So they send her back to her cell, and Amarantha's like laughing. Feyre's crying, and you're laughing. And hours later, Rhysand shows up, and things start to take a turn here. So he's okay. Rhysand is very upset, and he explains some of his backstory, which is that Tamlin's father killed his father. Is that right?
Yeah,
all the way around.
Rhysand just kind of exposition dumps on Feyre for a second.
Right.
Kind of just like, he's like depressed and mopey. And he's like, well, here's all my situation. What's going on with me?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it answers a lot of questions.
How can I make this about me? But yeah, no, you're right. It does answer some questions about like why he is where he is and why Amarantha's doing what she's doing. Basically, so we do learn kind of the actual stakes of this whole fucking 3 tasks thing, which is that if Tamlin is allowed to like leave her servitude or whatever it is, like he will regain his full strength again, and and like he will be able to completely destroy her. Like I think he literally says like she'll be like a splat on the wall.
Yeah, Rhysand's like the moment Tamlin gets his powers yet, he will absolutely tear her limb from limb, like destroy her.
Like him at his full power is like not something that she would ever be able to even like face.
And
yeah,
that's where I was vindicated, because he said everything I've done about publicly humiliating you was to get a rise out of Tamlin, that he is fueled in his anger to completely destroy her, which, go back to the last episode, is what I said in my prediction.
I remember that. I remember hearing. I couldn't remember which of you two said that, but as she said that, I was like, that was on the podcast. Someone said that. I don't remember who it was, but someone said that.
It's like, you probably said to yourself, I probably said that. Yeah, I'll take credit for that.
Nice. That was me. Good job, me.
We're all men. We all take credit for things.
Totally. I mean, Rhysand does. But yeah, so Rhysand basically says, yeah, to your point, like, I was trying to get a rise out of Tamlin. Like, Rhysand's goal this entire time is make Tamlin as mad as possible. So part of me says, like, does Tamlin really need more reasons to tear Amarantha apart? Like, would really...
You really think he wouldn't at this point? Yeah, like...
Yeah, like, at this point, really, would he not? But, like, Rhysand's just like, I'm going to add more to this.
Is Tamlin a soft boy?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Is he
no,
a soft
Tamlin's
boy?
he's like a soft boiled egg. He's like a soft hard boy.
A soft boiled egg?
Hard boiled egg. Soft hard boiled egg.
Sure.
That's a soft boiled egg.
Yeah.
I don't think I follow what you guys are getting at.
Rhysand is like an omelet with lots of bacon. I don't know what I'm saying either.
He's like an omelet with bats in it. Yeah.
Where is he going with this?
He's like a classic bat omelet, you know? Okay. I'm just saying that Tamlin is a very, like, reserved guy. He's been very mentally broken over the many years he has been having his power drained away. I'm just saying, like, I kind of see what Rhysand's doing, because, like, I also am not, like, 100% sure that Tamlin would immediately be able to jump into action mentally, even if his, like, physical, like, his powers returned, is what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I guess I just don't see why he wouldn't like immediately then turn his... I mean, I guess Feyre does say this. She does ask this very question of like, okay, when Tamlin's finished with Amarantha, what would mean he wouldn't just immediately turn his rage on Rhysand like right afterwards and just absolutely F him up as well. And Rhysand's whole strategy here was, I have some in my back pocket for that. I have a clever little thing that I've planned just for this. And that clever little thing was, I didn't go any further with you.
Yeah, so it's not that rape you. Yeah.
I didn't. So let's talk about this. Okay. So
I was trying to avoid saying that word given the company
to.
at my house, but yes.
Okay, so I'll do it, and Patrick, you can just say yes or no, and then
Great.
Yeah, so I actually had maybe a half-hour long discussion with Lindsay about this right before, because I had apparently a very different reading than her, and I think a lot of fans here. But yes, okay, so here's this is literally what it is. As Rhysand says, all right, I wish I was able to rape you. I would have done that if it had been convenient for me. I would have dragged you back to my bedchambers, and I'm a high fae, what are you going to do about it? But I didn't do that.
Does he say all that?
He actually says something about his bedchamber. Yes.
Yeah, I kind of... Or at least that's definitely the firm implication that I got. That was my reading as well.
I feel like I should have gotten the book in front of me to read, because I hate to paraphrase this. In this specific instance, I'd hate to paraphrase this and paraphrase it wrong.
I actually had to go back and listen to it again, because I was like, that's insane. He is so explicit about it.
The wording I remember is basically oh, that's the whole reason I didn't go any further with you.
Yes.
Which is that is not a good character. I don't think he understood what that sounded like as he said it. That's a bad look.
It really,
dude.
It really is aren't you grateful I didn't fully rape you? I just sexually assaulted you. Isn't that great?
It's so weird.
Because don't you feel better about me?
I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Whenever I think we talked about this, I don't know if it was the last episode or the episode before, when we were questioning back and forth, oh, was he further? Was it not? Was it further? And we realized no. It explicitly says it never got further than just touching her hips. And the part of me that want to give the benefit of the doubt was oh, it's Rhysand's being under all that. At least he's a good guy, that he knows not to cross the line. And we find out the entire reason he didn't cross the line was to not make Tamlin mad.
Yeah, because he's well, if Tamlin goes back to his full power and he kills Amarantha, then he'll be strong enough to possibly even kill me. And
so I'll just tell Tamlin, but I didn't do it.
Yeah, but I didn't. But I didn't.
I could have, but I didn't. I'm just a good guy.
Aren't you grateful? You ungrateful piece of shit. Yeah, so this really, I just can't put into words how much this fucking angered me today. I really felt bad, because I was just I cannot believe that this, because we know what's happening is this guy is going to be fucking rehabilitated in some way and explain away all of his actions over the next book or whatever, and
even in this room, they explained away a lot of his actions.
Yeah.
And how he was beholden to Amarantha, and how everything he did was because he had to, and because he is her servant, or because he was trying to make Tamlin more mad. This whole chapter was to explain his actions away to make him look better. Yeah. And yet...
This is the thing.
There was a line, too, where Feyre said... He's he kind of says, why do you think I did all this? And Feyre says, because you're a piece of shit. You're a bad guy.
You're a monster.
He kind of laughs yes. He's yes, I am. And then this all culminates. So, there is an acknowledgement of, yes, I am terrible. Then they still try to kind of, wash it all away. And then it ends with Feyre kind of having this, wow, he's helped me so much moment.
Yes.
And what am I if somebody disagrees, you're welcome to, let us know what your take is on this, because clearly we have differing opinions from a lot of people. So
I wish I had a chance to talk to Alexa about this.
I just don't.
But we were just a busy day. But I think the only possible other read I could get on this is that if I'm trying to be generous with how this is described, the other read I can get to this is that he didn't literally mean he would have done that stuff to her. That was him talking dirty, probably, is how I could probably write this off at. He wasn't saying he would have, gosh, I really hate my given my house situation right now. I don't think he was being generous. He wasn't saying he would do the thing. He was saying this stuff to her to basically talk dirty, oh, I would have done so much more because X, Y, because kind of trying to flatter her in a way.
Look, this is the thing.
It's not that I'm not attracted to you, and it's not that I didn't want to do more. It's that I stopped myself because of this, and this.
If you were,
I guess.
Look, sorry, I'm
go ahead.
interrupting you. I'm just saying,
go.
If you were you know, whatever, even going out with somebody, just throw the gender out the window right now. Like somebody said to you, like, okay, well, I could have taken you by force, but I didn't. Isn't that nice of me? You would never see that person again.
Yeah.
You would
no,
never.
No, you would not. I guess it's the tricky thing is if my partner said not the word force, but if my partner who I was romantically in a consensual relationship with said like, oh, I would have been more with you, but I couldn't because of X, Y, and Z, that would be like dirty talk. Right?
Sure,
it's like,
that's
ooh, like they wanted to do more.
Not what this
but
is,
that's
though.
not what this is though. She's like she is his prisoner and he is taking advantage of her, and I don't know. It's hard to have a generous read on
yes,
that.
Yeah,
that's
to your
what
point,
I'm
it's
saying,
not
yeah.
like it's a situation where it's like, oh, you were really messed up last night. I didn't want to go any further because of that, where it's like a respect thing. This is very clearly a demeaning,
Yeah.
like, I want you to know that I could, like, it's a power thing of I want you to know I could have and I didn't.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah,
but also
I
that,
don't
like,
know.
there's still 2 more nights of drugging you. I'm still telling you that I could have. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
it's just like such a plain like assertion of like power and like dominance over her and everything, and it just makes me feel like I feel gross that she doesn't feel grosser. Does that make sense? Like, not like she likes what's happening, but like I just like I had such a stronger reaction to this than she did in the book, and I was like, what? Like, this is insane. And like, I mean, I just really don't see a point where I'm going to ever accept this character being a love interest for her, no matter what happens from this point on. But like, I don't know.
yeah, and I thought it, like, there could have been an interesting dynamic between, or like a commentary on like the sexual attraction of power. If you had Tamlin, who clearly is like, you know, the sexual like idealization or whatever of like a powerful male character, because it's a consent forward powerful guy, versus if you had Rhysand being, or if she was wholly appalled by everything Rhysand did, never mentioning how attractive he was, and him using his power obviously always for terribleness. It would have been more of an interesting commentary on, you know, the sex appeal of power when used in a consensual situation.
Yeah, I could
but
see them going that way.
it doesn't seem to be going that way. She seems to also be into Rhysand constantly. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
despite
maybe
despite
I'm missing
what
something. So maybe it's just being a guy
So
and missing
just-
something. So I open any comments.
It's
so
funny you mentioned that, just because like I remember one thing we kind of glazed over, but when she gets back to her cell at the beginning of this chapter, or not beginning of this chapter, but like after he kisses her to like cause that scene, she gets back to her cell and she specifically says, "I can still feel his warm kiss on my lips, even though I washed my mouth out multiple times."
Yeah, and like,
Yeah,
And
Okay.
it's like,
Grossed out
and
by
it's like,
it.
so I know she verbally keeps saying, "Oh, I'm grossed out by that," but then like also she still's having these, like it's almost like she's trying to lie to us, the
Yes,
people reading the book.
that's a good way
like
to
she's
write
she's trying to convince us that she doesn't like it, but she's having these thoughts that she does like it. So like that could also be affecting her. Her attraction to Rhysand could be affecting her reaction to this. If you generally found someone to be repulsing and they said those things to you, you'd be like, dude, what the F? But like, there could be a part of her in the back of her mind or whatever that is so deeply attracted to Rhysand that when he said those things, instead of being repulsed, as she should have been, maybe she was kind of just like, oh, like maybe she found it enticing in some way. I don't know. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I mean,
trying
okay,
to-
like, I want to also say one thing, like, because when I was talking to Lindsay about this, she was very, like, surprised at, like, how, like, much I did not like this, because she was explaining to me, like, well, in most other books like this, like, the guys are just, like, way worse. Like, Rhysand is actually pretty tame for this kind of,
That's
like,
so not a good excuse, though.
right, and I was like, that still doesn't make
That's
it
such
good.
a low bar to clear.
Right, yeah. Like, and she, she agreed with that. I just was, like, adding that as, like, a side thing. But, yeah, it's like, this is apparently a lot tamer than this trope has come, I think, for people who are typically reading these kinds of books. Like, mostly women have, like, come to expect from this kind of character, apparently. So, that's just some input there. I mean, we can, talk about that more at the end of the book and everything, but... Yeah, I thought I'd throw that out there. I mean, it doesn't make me feel better, but Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we keep talking about now, like, oh, there's no. I think we said this multiple times. Every single time Rhysand shows up, with the exception of the first time, we've all kind of said there's no way we can buy him being a romantic interest. There's no possible way we can buy it. There's no way it'll ever happen. And I am so excited for a couple months from now when we're like in the heat of the next book. What our
heat is right.
Yeah, like I am fascinated to know months from now when we're in the middle of the next book what our takes are going to be. Like, is it going to recontextualize this scene? Like, I find that hard to believe, but also like, I mean, we're supposed to buy Rhysand as a viable love interest, so
yeah,
I don't know.
We could have a J.K. Rowling kind of moment where there's a huge retcon that like makes all of this okay, or in the moment never will feel okay, but like, book 2 might add some detail of like another hidden motive, or who knows, but
maybe some dark spirit is controlling him, his dark passenger. Maybe it's a Dexter situation.
Yeah, I would be interested to know what
Rhysand original sin.
Yeah, what our female listeners think of this, because like I'm just interested. Like, it feels like I'm missing something. Like, as far as like if he becomes a love interest, which we all kind of assume that's the direction this is going.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see and learn more about what the appeal of this character is.
So
we might have to just general visit this at the end of the book, and then we are going to have our recap special roundtable episode with with Alexa and Rachel and other parts and other female members. So we'll be able to get there. Although it's going to be tricky, they're going to have to navigate having this conversation with us without spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah, it was going to be difficult for them, but either way, I'm still interested to hear their reads on this, because I mean, every time I talk to Alexa about Rhysand in any way, and I voice my concerns with him, naturally she's very defensive of Rhysand, but she already has the benefit of having read this book series twice under her belt, so like she likes Rhysand, obviously, but she's a little defensive of him when things happen, and it's hard to separate. I don't know. To me, it seems like it'd be hard to separate book 1 Rhysand from rest of the series Rhysand.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to see how that goes.
Maybe, and you know what? Maybe I'll be completely thrown off, and like something will come up, and I'll be like, okay, well that's like fine. I can buy that enough, or whatever in the next book or whatever. But Lindsay did tell me that there is a thing that happens like later in the second book that does recontextualize this thing. She didn't give me any details about it, but
it's so far away.
It's so far away. Yeah, it's a long time. So
that's so far away.
But she said like there is a thing coming that does recontextualize what's happened here in a way that I think we would not expect. So I mean, that is there. Well, I guess we're just talking about how it is as we've read it. So
at least as it stands right now, it's wicked weird. And the funny thing about this is I've been trying to, kind of knowing that they're trying to set up Rhysand as another love interest. I've been kind of like having that in the back of my mind. So like as he's been helping her through after the first task and kind of during the second task, obviously, there's part of me in my mind I've been thinking like I've been kind of like psyching myself up, like, all right, cool, he's helping her. Like, maybe this is them slowly building Rhysand up into being like likable or like, a better guy. But then she immediately washes that away because Rhysand says the only reason I've been doing any of this is because he knows that their last Hail Mary shot, and he even says this, is rests on the hope of an illiterate human girl is the only way that the entire fairy race can be saved. Is like if she somehow manages to pass this, all their hopes lie on her. So everything he's been doing as far as helping her, healing her, doing everything has been solely to save the fairy people and specifically his realm as well. So he's not doing things because he gives a lick about Farah. Lick.
Oh. Oh, the pain. Anyway,
to that too. I know we gotta probably wrap up, but like, they even have the part where they make like he's doing it all for his realm. They make him. He's like, "Oh, my people are suffering." It's like, wait, why are you adding this heroic element? Like, you have been a bastard this whole time. Like, this just feels inconsistent or weird. But then he also, there's just, she makes the point about, when you healed my arm, you could have said, I had to live with you, 4 weeks out of the month, and I would have said yes. You didn't have to you didn't have to bargain with me. Implying that there was some sort of, not pity, but goodness in his heart in the deal. And it's like, no, if there was goodness in his heart, he wouldn't have done the
He would have just
in the first
He
place.
would have just,
her,
he would have just done it without the bar.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. Like the bar is so low for him being not shitty.
It's a hard.
Yeah, I don't
Look.
I'm
just gonna
I'm
say
missing something, and it's like that's on me, as it could be. I don't know. I'm clearly missing something as someone that is not super into this particular type of, I don't want to call it a romance novel, but like these types of romances in these like larger kind of fantasy novels. So I might be missing something.
I mean, this is my I think this is for all three of us our first time reading anything
like a book like this. Yeah, that is for sure my first time.
So we don't have the benefit of like, but this trope happens in other books and it's usually better, usually worse, or whatever. We don't have that benefit. We're experiencing this for the first time. We're all like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
this
there's
is
so much
we're
recent. Like
we're so disconnected.
Down version.
We're like so disconnected from this. We're like comparing it to Naruto. It's like, all right. Anyway, so yeah, let's go ahead and kind of wrap up here, because that is sort of the end of the chapter with Feyre realizing like, okay, Rhysand has helped me a lot, and she has a little bit of like hope for actually getting her and Tamlin out of this now. So yeah, we're gonna be coming back with our finale with the next episode. So that should be in 2 weeks from now. But yeah, so I think let's do some quick predictions for the very end of the book here. I think
no idea.
I think Amarantha definitely is gonna die. I feel confident about that.
Yes, that I think we can say.
I'm wondering. Here's my thing. I'm wondering, does it set up for the next book or does it just end? Like,
oh, that is a curious. I don't actually know, because we know this was kind of written on its own, and then she later decided to come back and like.
She wrote the first one, and then she wrote the second one before publishing the first one.
Yeah, my gut is this ends in a way that is open-ended, but not necessarily a direct setup. Like, I don't think this has like a Marvel style post-credit scene where like they're
like
immediately
Thanos
setting it up for the
up.
sequel. Yeah, I don't think. Although it'd be so funny if they literally had that the end of this book ends with a cut to the King of Hybern being like,
looks like it's my turn.
I'll do it myself. Yes, exactly. That'd be so funny. Oh my god,
legendary.
The final line of this book was the King of Hybern saying, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
Oh my
fade
god.
to black.
How do you fade to black in a book? I don't know, but she's gonna do it.
No, she writes fade to black.
She writes fade to black like a stage direction.
All right, this is a shout out to Rachel, our social media manager and also emoji manager for the Discord. Please make a King Hybern fine, I'll do it myself emoji. Please.
That'd be so good. Okay, that's very good.
Funny. We're gonna add that to the Discord before this episode even aired, and everyone's gonna be so confused.
Oh yeah. Okay, speaking of that, actually, let's transition in. So yeah, we have a community Discord I've opened up. If you go to our website, which is brand new, looking fresh and fine, acobabpod.com, acobabpod.com, it's what it sounds like. You will find it there. There's a link there, as well as, of course, to all of our streaming platforms and everything where we are. And yeah, so definitely jump in. Starting off good so far. We got a few people active in there, and we're definitely trying to build up more of a community. Like, as I said in my blog post there, I would love for there to be I think we can all agree the internet is getting worse just every day, just in general, to be on. So yeah, I would like for there to be a place for everyone to be like cool and passionate about the things they care about without having fear of like shitty people moving in. And so but blanket rule, like for this place, just obviously no like racism, homophobia, transphobia, like sexism, but also just like, hey, there's a no Nazis rule, no Trump voters rule. Like, just get the fuck out.
There's a firm rule on that. I will. Yeah, I'm over it.
Be cool. Don't be shitty.
Yeah, don't be a shitty person.
For all those Trump ACOTAR fans, that firm overlap that exists. The one of you that's
listening,
what?
Go
fuck yourself.
You joke about that, but I fully believe those people. Like, there are people.
It'd be fascinating to hear that person's read on the book.
Yeah, the Rhysand big fan. He's the best.
Rhysand's a hero, actually. Tamlin's just a cuck, a liberal
you guys
cuck.
You guys, you can't talk about Rhysand fans like that, knowing that everyone who's read the entire series loves Rhysand.
That's true.
No, I'm just saying that, like, I'm just saying Trump supporters would be Rhysand fans for all of the wrong reasons.
Sure.
All right. So yeah, I think. But anyway, yeah, we've got that opened up. So come and check it out. As far
You
as
mentioned before too that like, oh, we want to hear back from our fans if like our female listeners about this scene in particular.
Yes.
Although in hindsight, do we want to hear back from our female fans in this scene in particular? Because whenever we have fans that comment on things, or not necessarily fans, whenever people comment on our videos, usually they contain spoilers that we can't read, and Rachel has to.
That is a great point. If you want to do that, then we do have a spoilers channel, and you can feel free to chat with Rachel and some other folks there about.
Alexa's there too.
Yeah. Lindsay lurks there, but has posted never. But she does read everything in there. She says so.
I didn't even know Lindsay was lurking in the server.
No, she is. She is. I think she's posted one message the entire time.
Great.
But regardless, yeah. So definitely pop in there. And then as far as our TikTok, that is a thing happening right now. I think everyone's acutely aware that TikTok is possibly like gonna not exist anymore in like 2 days after you're listening to this.
Are we gonna make a Red Note account? Is that what the new one's called?
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen right now. There's a word that they might be granted like a few months of an extension while this gets figured out. But like,
I think
really
some
don't know.
government person requested that. I don't know if it's a senator or something like that. Wrote a bill to request that, but it's like the deadline's in like 2 days. I don't know.
It's really like a lot. Yeah. So anyway, I feel almost
Instagram is a safe bet for now, at least. Even though I really hate that Meta owns basically all social media now with TikTok shutting down.
I am not a fan of that either. And we did set up an Instagram, so that's also at Akabab Pod. I don't feel great about it.
Blue Sky yet?
We don't, and that's what I was going to say, is that I would like to set one of those up as well in a bit here. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, I'm so fucking sick of having to like run back to Meta and their platforms for this, like especially now that they've are actively encouraging people to be transphobic and stuff.
They've had a carve back into their community rules where you can be really shitty to anybody that, to just anybody.
Just any group, except Elon Musk.
Posts,
So and
just go start fires is my advice.
Nope, I'm in LA. Don't do that.
Yes, they've already started fires. Nature already took care of that. Everywhere else, go do what nature didn't do and just start a bunch of fires.
Hello?
Oh my gosh.
That's my advice.
Don't start fires. As someone who's in Los Angeles right now, don't start fires. It's so bad here, gang.
It's
gotten better, thankfully.
Not the LA part. The LA part actually is on fire. Nothing I said was legally actionable. But also check out the Twin Flames Between Worlds podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay, so Twin Flames Between Worlds. Sorry, my DoorDash order is here somehow 10 minutes after I ordered it. So we have to rush through this now. We have some friends making a similar podcast over it. It's called Twin Flames Between Worlds. Tabitha and Liesel, who are doing a similar thing to us, basically, but going through the whole Sarah J. Maas universe, I guess, the Maasaverse. I don't know what they call it. But they've got some cool stuff going on, and they've gone into the Throne of Glass books as well, like beyond the ACOTAR stuff. So definitely check them out.
They're a lot further ahead than us.
Yes, way farther ahead. They've covered a lot of
listeners
stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to us, maybe you want to listen to like some not us talk about this, then
some different voices.
Different voices is a good way to say it. So definitely check them out.
If you don't think Sasuke's wings are hot, maybe this isn't the podcast for you.
Yeah.
No, because I'm on this podcast, and I don't think the wings are hot.
Struggling to figure out a way to fit Naruto into the title of this episode right now. Anyway, all right. Let's call it Feyre Shippuden. Fucking no one's gonna laugh at this title. All right, let's close out. All right, so thank you guys for
trucking.
Yes, keep on trucking. And again, I just want to give this a fucking shout out because we discovered we do have a trucker who's listening. So
we do.
Yes.
And well, we only have a 100% confirmed trucker. That's not to say that all the other truckers who are listening just haven't come forward yet.
I think that's the case. Yeah, I think it's a selection bias problem.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and yeah, keep on trucking and support your local bookstores.
Yep. Thanks.